Today let's talk about SIRI, one of Warren Buffett's Berkshire favorites. Berkshire owns over 35% of SIRI. That's a big stake for them, and interestingly, they've been adding more shares over the past few quarters. Let's dig into the secret behind this fascinating business model. What does SIRI do? SIRI basically runs a radio business, but with a twist, it's satellite radio. That means no matter how remote you are, in the mountains, the desert, or driving cross-country, you still get crystal clear signal. That's a huge relative advantage. And their most loyal customer base, drivers, truckers, commuters, people who spend a lot of time behind the wheel, that's their bread and butter. The heavy asset illusion. Now, on paper, SIRI's ROE is only about 7%. It looks like the company isn't using capital very efficiently, but that's actually a bit of an illusion. See, SiriusXM's price-to-book ratio is around 0.63, which means the market doesn't believe those assets on its balance sheet are really worth that much. Most of those big assets are things like satellites, and if you try to sell those as scrap metal, well, they're basically worthless. They show up big on paper because accounting rules record them at cost, not market value. So it looks like a heavy asset company, and the ROE looks low. But in reality, those are old, one-time investments. They don't need to keep launching new satellites every few years. The business today actually runs on a light asset model. It's all about operations, not capex. If you were to write down those old assets, the real operational ROE would be much higher. So yes, the on-paper ROE looks low, but the true ROE, in terms of business efficiency, is actually quite strong. The hidden value of those worthless assets. Now, are those satellites totally meaningless then? Not at all. Sure, if you sold them, they wouldn't fetch much, but if you wanted to build another SiriusXM from scratch, you'd have to spend billions to do it again. That's what makes those assets a real moat, even though they look worthless in liquidation terms. So, the satellites are both the least valuable and the most valuable thing they have. Not valuable for resale, but incredibly valuable for protection. A natural monopoly. SiriusXM's profits are actually pretty healthy. Yes, they have big competitors like Spotify or Apple Music, but in the satellite radio niche, SiriusXM is the only player, a true king of the hill. And here's the key, this niche can really only support one profitable company. If there were two, both would lose money. Why? Because it's a natural monopoly. The upfront cost is huge, and the market size isn't big enough to support multiple networks. So no rational company would ever spend billions just to enter a market where even success means low profits. That's why SiriusXM can sit there, comfortably, as the local emperor of its tiny but stable kingdom. The second moat, a double network effect. SiriusXM also has another powerful moat, a double-sided network effect. It connects two groups, the listeners and the content creators, talk show hosts, celebrities, sports personalities. The more users they have, the easier it is to sign top talent. And the more big names they sign, the stronger their audience loyalty becomes. For example, in their Q2 2025 earnings report, the company highlighted a major deal with Stephen A. Smith, a huge sports media personality. That kind of content partnership is gold. It locks in both fans and brand identity. So this business isn't just hard to replicate because of satellites, it's also hard to replicate because of its ecosystem. About the subscriber decline. Now yes, if you look at the numbers, subscriber counts are slightly declining, but it's slow, less than 1% per year. People love growth charts going up and to the right, so when they see a small decline, they get scared. But this decline is more quantitative, not qualitative. It doesn't mean the business model is broken. And here's a thought. Will SiriusXM's users today still be listening 20 years from now? Honestly, I think most of them will. Habits don't change easily, and SiriusXM has tons of sticky content. So while it's not a fast-growing business, it's also not one that's going to fade away in 3 to 5 years. Valuation. Simple, maybe too cheap. Right now, SiriusXM trades at a PE under 10. Some financial sites show it as unprofitable, but that's because of a one-time impairment in 2024, not an operational loss. Its revenue, profits, and cash flow are all solid. The mild subscriber decline is already priced in, maybe even overpriced in. Clearly, Buffett thinks so too, because Berkshire keeps buying more. This investment doesn't need a fancy model, just common sense. As Buffett says, I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look around for 1-foot bars I can step over. Sirius XM is one of those 1-foot bars, a simple, understandable business with a wide moat and steady cash flow. By the way, besides buying SIRI shares, you could also sell SIRI puts. That's what I've been doing. If you found this interesting, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Faye. I've been investing for over 10 years with returns exceeding 20x. I share practical, easy-to-understand investment insights based on real experience. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I share is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do your own research and know your risk.